Officially, Italian fashion hadn't been born yet, when Linda Christian, to say "I do" to Tyrone Power in Santa Francesca Romana, chose a sumptuous wedding gown from the Roman designers, the Fontana sisters. It was the year 1949, and already in the capital there had flourished many other tailors and designers: Fernanda Gattinoni, Roberto Capucci, Schubert, Fausto Sarli, Centinaro, Piattelli, and for men's clothing, Litrico, Caraceni, Brioni. Numerous and talented Roman designers were already working in Paris, like Valentino, Lancetti, and André Logue. These are the dresses worn by Eva Gardner, Jacqueline Kennedy, Elizabeth Taylor, jealously guarded at the Fontana Foundation. A date and a place signal the birth of Italian fashion, the 22nd of July, 1952, in the White Room of Palazzo Pitti in Florence. Organized by the Count Giorgini, it was the first official fashion show presentation. There was a relevant participation of Roman designers, a strong interest of the international press, and the presence of American buyers who were attracted by the costs and the good taste represented. Before then, our designers had imitated the French style, which dominated in the world. From this date on, the direction changed. At that time, Italians were singing Bola Colomba and were moved by the interpretation of Alberto Sordi in Fellini's film The White Sheik. The country was beginning to come out from the devastation from the Second World War, and soon our designers of great talent would begin to make known their creativity throughout the world. In the year 1953, Italian men's elegance exploded with the first edition of the Pitti Men's Fashion Shows, where the designers Litrico and Brioni were present. In the year 1956, Capucci was acclaimed by the international press as the best creator of Italian fashion, and he received the public praise of Christian Dior. Since then, the creations of this designer sculpture have gone round the world, and some are hosted in museums. For the Beatles, the delirium of the youth, and for the miniskirts of Mary Quant, all made polemics, two symbols of the 60s. In Italy, there was an economic boom. In Rome, the sweet life on Via Veneto, where the paparazzi or photographers were hunting the stars. Designers began to impose their style. The imperial style of Gattinoni was born with the clothes worn by Audrey Hepburn in the film War and Peace. The pyjamas palazzo of the Princess Galitzin became a status symbol. They were named so because the first photo shot for Vogue was realized at Palazzo Doria. In the year 1962, Valentino was first consecrated by the international press at Palazzo Pitti. Soon after, Capucci transferred to Paris, and Florence began to lose ground, and during the same year, fashion show presentations began to be held in Rome. After his debut at Pitti in 1957 with the collection Boutonnière, it was the moment of the young Sarli, already impatient with geometric design.
First, there used to be some human contact between the designer and the public. However, today the designer has more contact with the industrialist. I think that I am the last designer from that era.
Striving to conquer Rome also was André Logue after his experience in Paris. His style was contrary to the tendency, explains Olivier, who after the premature death of the designer in 1985 continues the activity.
We created the essential tailleur without a blouse and only a t-shirt underneath, and with the skirt, also trousers.
The image of the impetuous Khrushchev, who at the United Nations beat his shoe on his desk, was seen around the world. The shoe was an Angelo Litrico signature. He became the tailor to many heads of state, of astronauts and artists. Rock fans, flower children, by the thousands at Woodstock, gathered to sing new ideas. It was 1968, the year that closed the optimistic 60s and the 70s to follow. Economic crisis, austerity and terrorism, but the creativity of the great designers was not stifled.
I take inspiration from women of diverse cultures and countries, from India to Japan. I have admired the delicate nature of these women. I have hoped that this would not be lost.
It It was the triumph of folk, but in 1977, with the Renaissance collection at the Plaza Hotel, Lancetti launched a revolutionary idea to transfer classical themes from paintings onto fabric, Modigliani, Matisse and Picasso, and for the designer-painter it was an enormous success. The color red is never missing from the collections of Valentino, already in the Olympic of the Great. He chose this color while admiring mature women dressed in red velvet at the Opera Theatre in Barcelona. Valentino, the pioneer, entered into large distribution and launched the Pret-a-Porter collections. He presented his collections in Paris. In Rome and Milan, he opened the first boutiques. Valentino was the first Italian couturier to contract licenses for his grave. Rocco Barocco had already become known to our stars before bewitching Liza Minnelli, who became ambassador for his clothes in the United States, optical designs and bell-bottoms. The Fendi were already a noted firm in the field of leather. Then the firm became successful as farriers and together with Karl Lagerfeld changed and revolutionized the concept of fur. Fashion shows discovered the open spaces of the capital. In 1978, there was the first show at Piazza di Spagna for the National Chamber of Fashion. Still actual, these soft clothes from the 70s, distant from the dictates of the moment, the trapeze lines, and the famous embroidery and decorations. They are by Balestra. After Paris, the designer's Pret-a-Porter collections became known in 3 American cities and since then have conquered the world market. From the United States came the high Saturday Night Fever and the yuppie movement involving all those young managers assaulting the workplaces. Italy entered in the 80s as the sick partner of Europe and left them as the 5th potential industrial power. Triumphant was made in Italy. The international press lauded Armani, Valentino, Versace. In the capital of Rome, fashion discovered palaces, monuments and squares. Unique was the fashion show at the Fountain of Trevi, but polemics occurred because of the plexiglass placed. Much opposition also occurred regarding the use of monuments for the fashion shows. The unique exception was Piazza di Spagna. A broadcast on world television was the first edition of Donna sotto le stelle, Woman under the stars, idea and produced by Mario Mafucci of Rai Uno Television. It was the year 1986. And in Rome, the awakening on the high fashion sector occurred. This is the case of the son of Fernanda Gattinoni, Raniero, who debuted together with Stefano Dominella in Pret-a-Porter and then in high fashion. Avant-garde ideas, research, traditional handcraft, and with the arrival of Guglielmo Mariotto, new technologies at Gattinoni. The change of style of the brief was completed. Fashion is a total business affair. Also, Barocco transformed his business into a large industry. Lancetti offered the magic of a fashion presentation at Villa Medici in homage to Picasso. The industry of luxury exploded. The $1 million invoice was the second entry in the balance of payments. Schools of fashion design were born and younger talents made debuts. The municipality of Rome dedicated a street to Zoe, one of the Fontana sisters. Some organizational problems still remain to be resolved regarding the fashion shows in Rome. A scandal occurred in 1989 when Valentino announced that he would present his collections in Paris, also for haute couture. With a click and you see clothing via the internet, the global village of McLuhan has become a reality. In the 90s, fashion has become a vehicle for social messages on religion, but of late, on the Roman catwalks, there have been excesses in order to conquer front-page headlines, and there have been polemics. Fashion has become also of solidarity and of patronage. Valentino promoted the association life in favor of people suffering from AIDS. And Piazza Mignanelli, where his general headquarters are located, has become the site of prestigious exhibitions. The restoration of the stairs, Cordonata, was a gift of Laura Biagiotti, another great name of Italian fashion. The Queen of Kashmir presented her fashion in Peking during the year 1988. At the beginning of the 90s, she opened her first boutique in this Chinese city. Fashion is art. In 1991, there was the celebration in the Musei Capitolini, Capitol Museums, the entrance of Valentino into the artistic patrimony, and in 1998, homage to the great Lancetti at the Vittoriano. These sketches of costumes were realized by the designer's Ballesta for Strauss' opera Der Rosenkavalier, performed in Trieste. Fashion is a cinema. In Milan, world capital of fashion shows, immortalized by Altman in the film Pret-à-Porter. The city of Rome attempts to be affirmed as the city of the great events. In 1998, the Agency of Fashion was born. For the occasion, Sophia Loren, the first president of the agency, arrived, and with her, the international press returned after years of latent absence. Rome began to interest foreign firms, and there were the newer talents. The Roman Mattiolo experimented for his presentation spectacle in uncommon spaces. Centrale Montemartini, the studios of Cinecittà, the bridge of the Castel Sant'Angelo, the Campidoglio. The Rai Uno television network, after Piazza di Spagna, invented another, Piazza Navona. It was the year 1993. The most recent event before the new millennium was in the new living room of the capital, Piazza del Popolo. In 2000, the Jubilee was celebrated. Millions of pilgrims arrived at the holy city of Christianity, and on the 16th of December, a grand event touched the world of fashion, the Jubilee of Fashion. Realized by the efforts of Father Robin Wetherill, the most important fashion designers and employees in the sector were present in the solemn audience of the Holy Father, Pope John Paul II, and at the holy celebration by the Pope in St. Peter's Square. The first time in the history of the papacy that the Vatican opened its doors to the protagonists of fashion, a sign of recognition of the value of the sector, but perhaps also pushed by a desire to reflect against the excesses. In January 2002, a great event touched our country, the entrance in vigor, like in the other European Union countries, of the new currency, the euro, a passage of epoch that put away definitely the now antiquated lira, and made concretely the economic and commercial union of Europe. And in Rome, the fashion shows in January found a new administration and a new mayor, Walter Veltroni. And by the efforts of the Honorable Enrico Gasbarra, vice mayor, responsible of fashion, the Campidoglio hosted in the Sala della Protomoteca 3 days of fashion shows, exclusively of historic designers' names, Sarli, Egon von Fürstenberg, Riva and Balestra. Instead, Curiel preferred Palazzo Farnese, site of the French embassy, for her presentation dedicated to Victor Hugo.
The municipality has become a testimonial in its support for this important and strategic sector, not just for its prestigious past when Roman high fashion was for a long time an international reference point, but for the commitment to continue to be a sector always in development.
And in the future, what will be the new philosophy as far as fashion?
Il Comune ha istituito un ufficio moda.
Well, the municipality has opened an office for fashion, and the city is also present in the society that is occupied at the managerial level for the promotion of the sector with the triennial program. With international initiatives, the fashion sector is inserted in the campaign Rome Sweet Home. We would like to make available for the fashion show presentations during the month of July some particular locations, because Rome has a unique theatrical panorama. We also intend to promote international events in order to attract the international press. Our aim is to bring again to Rome a strong competitive edge with Paris.
As you have heard, the renovated Agency of Fashion is presented with a new name and logo, Alta Roma Style and Events Agency. The municipality of Rome, the Chamber of Commerce and the Lazio region are with an ambitious aim for Rome to become the world capital of high fashion. These all work together in political synergy and with investments of capital for the promotion of the sector. The municipality adopted, during the initiative Rome Sweet Home, a campaign to promote abroad the capital, its economy, tourism, all through the talents of the great names of Roman fashion on location around the world, in New York, Moscow, Hong Kong, and Peking, as the ambassadors of Rome. A rich calendar in 2002, the International Year of Fashion, defined as such by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So then, goodbye to Rome. Arrivederci Roma.